Hello everyone, this is Kevin in the future. We had screen recording difficulties once again. However, I'm going to be re-recording sections of the screen recording so that all of you can best follow along. I do appreciate your understanding in all of this. I believe I discovered the cause of that and it shouldn't be an issue moving forward. Thank you as always for the support. Enjoy. Just wait for it. Those were the words I used in my Mii Tour reaction video. Thank you all for joining me today, and first and foremost, I want to say I am extremely grateful that the community has shown support for this channel. We're now at over 900 subscribers, and we're ever so closer to the 1,000 subscriber mark, at which point we can make partnership with YouTube, and that will take the content and what we're capable of doing here to the next level. And also all the likes on the last video. I can't thank you enough for all the support. So here we are today, and I will be exchanging the rubies for the DK Mii suit, and along with that, I'm going to have some very strong context with which I perceive the Miis within the ecosystem of Mario Kart Tour and some of the pitfalls that are very prevalent with this brand new system. But rest assured, folks, with the perspective I'll be arming you with today, there's nothing to worry about here, okay? You can proceed with your game whether you want to focus on the Miis or not. We have a message from the Mario Kart Tour team. And they say, thank you for playing our game. Some players may be experiencing screen flickering during races, and they're investigating the issue, and they apologize for the inconvenience. They recommend that you stop playing if you feel discomfort. Of course, flashing light patterns in some individuals can produce a seizure. So if, you know, some of the recommendations that they always provide with these games is to play in a well-lit room to monitor your playtime. So hopefully none of you out there have been experiencing discomfort or this issue in general. I have yet to see it, so that is very good. Maybe it's only on select devices. Hopefully they'll take care of that soon, but just a little caution there. So anyway, let's check out the shop and make this exchange. It's not going to be like a pipe pull since it is just a single purchase. And that's the context with which I want to provide information here. Daily selects, I called again a third straight day of super premium items. I have not seen the favor on the daily selects like many of you have out there. Information has been data mined regarding the daily selects. I will provide comprehensive content when that's all set in stone. Currently, what is known is that the brand new pipe locked items that were introduced, those are the items from January 2021 and back, they were all added to the base categories. So the previous premium categories remain conserved from what they were. So your Baby Luigi, your Pipe Buggy, your Piranha Plant Parafoil, those are still very good, as well as we've seen Carlos max out his Pauline, which is the high-end premium category, which will not by itself confer a significant increase in high-end ticket viability in the shop, but coupled with maxing of other categories greatly enhances the chance that someone out there can obtain high-end tickets. Now, that's on his pay-to-win account, right? So for the vast majority of players out there, the rate for a high-end ticket without anything maxed out in your shop is 3%, which is quite good. And for the vast majority of players, it's not practical to max out any additional slot other than those normal premium items, which we're all obtaining normal level boost tickets. So those are things that we can work on naturally without having to invest a significant amount of coins, and we can target our coins for these high-end items that we want to level up in our inventory, as well as the tier shop when those items suit your liking. So now, without further ado, here we are. The Donkey Kong Mii racing suit. We're gonna go ahead and purchase this now. Feels weird since I've never actually purchased something from a screen like this. But yeah, so 30% off your first purchase. Now this is something that immediately struck me as like, okay, it's very bait inducing, right? Because it's like, okay, normally the cost of this is going to go to 100 rubies after we do this exchange. Now, some folks out there may feel like 100 rubies for a purchase of one of these items is a bargain, right? Because like, let's say if this were in a 100 spotlight pipe, you might have to use 450 rubies. You might be that 1% person where it's all the way at the bottom, or at least 10% where it's in the last 10 pole, right? In which case, then that sounds pretty good. But do keep in mind, this is the only item that you're obtaining, right? There's no normals, there's no supers, there's no standard high ends, as in like, there's no chance to pull Peach Explorer or the Off-Roader or, you know, some of these other very valuable items that can really strengthen your account. So there's no additional coins per ruby value, like that conversion that we would experience in a pipe, is completely null and void in this situation. So, you know, look, it's fair if some players out there want to perceive the pipe pulls as being only the value of that exclusive item, but in actuality, it's much greater than that. Even those meaningless pulls that we have, you know, the green pipe with the 10 normals, okay, that's still providing progress to your account, and that's what's absent here. And you know, this is a more direct pathway that Nintendo has introduced to players' wallets. And when that's the case, we have to provide the necessary context of what's going on here. And along with that is the mechanics. So let's make this purchase and we'll talk a little bit about the mechanics of these Miis, okay? So right there, it shows that we can make 3 purchases. So I have the 1. And it won't be discounted anymore. And all Mii racing suits plus 10 base points. This is the thing, right? They're incentivizing players, particularly competitive-minded players, to follow the bait, right? It's the more of these that you obtain and collect, you'll power them all up. You're gonna juice up all your Mii characters, and it's currently unknown where the base points cap lies after all of these are collected. Currently, the limit for this base point capping is not yet known, but one thing that I am highlighting in these discussions on the various servers is that for Nintendo to notify and highlight us that there will be a limit to the base points capping means that the limit should be less than their planned number of Mii racing suits that they have to be introduced into the game. Otherwise, it's complete redundancy for them to even suggest that there's a limit if the limit need not apply to an entire collection of these Mii suits. And there is, you know, 20 Mii suits that exist out there. So therefore, if there was no limit, a triple capped Mii suit driver could go all the way up to 1,600 base points, and that's quite extraordinary what it would be able to achieve relative to just a standard triple capping high end, okay? And there we see on the screen that it's now 100 rubies. Now, interesting, so it still maintains the 70 rubies, so it's the first purchase of each kind. So but once you do go back and purchase it for the 100 rubies, if we're comparing that to the other aspects of their ecosystem, right, of their economy, the rubies bundles, which have 90 rubies for 40 US dollars, right? So this right here is 100 rubies, which would equate to, what's that, $44 of value just for a single item here. And that's the danger, along with, okay, if we go over to the ranked mode, let's take a look here. You know, if you're below tier 50, it's now known that you don't even have access to this ranked reward. If you're tier 49, SOL. I mean, that's what they're doing. So this is a premium and a privileged opportunity to get this. And this is a situation now where players are seeing this, and we know that it will be the ranked reward for week 2 as well. Players are in a situation now where they feel pressured, like, this is my only chance to obtain Rosalina's Mii racing suit. And then you'll dump all of these tickets, and even if you don't have that mindset, you are likely to see in your ranked group pretty good chance that you will have players that have that mindset. And that's where, you know, things get a little bit fuzzy with the ranked algorithm, because the ranked algorithm cannot predict human nature, right? So sometimes there are these sensational situations of high pressure FOMO, fear of missing out, where players just barrage and dump the resources irrationally to obtain the reward, not for equal return value, mind you. And that it's a pressure cooker situation for everybody, because the dominoes begin to fall, and you either take a rationalized loss on the offer, or you fall in line, and it triggers a cascade effect, in which case a lot of people end up spending more than they should. And these are part of the predatory tactics that I like to draw emphasis to. Now, you might be saying, like, this all sounds very negative. Like, what's the silver lining in this, KG? And that is, like, look, okay, I want to provide the context for these Mii suits. There's some players out there that don't like the Miis at all. Okay, I'm somebody that I enjoy the Miis being here. It's just a nice addition. It creates more immersion. It's really fun. A lot of community engagement. Amazing creativity on the part of the users to make these things look really cool, and many of us have had a lot of fun interacting with that and seeing what's capable of being done there. In auto mode, it's fun to use them in multiplayer with your friends. I mean, like, this is all great stuff, but, you know, people worry about, okay, so since the base points now exceed that of what's currently possible, or previously possible, I should say, will this just dominate and over-centralize the metagame moving forward? And I am here to say that will not be the case, folks. Mark my words. And if you choose, you can ignore these Miis entirely and still be successful, okay? And the reason for that, one of them is that this is the most essential reason, right? Everything that Nintendo has ever brought to Mario Kart Tour hasn't dominated the game indefinitely. It always has a shelf life. And the reason for that is because Nintendo has a long-term roadmap, right? A schedule. So if Mii suddenly just dominate the metagame, then what's going to happen is the thing that they need to sell besides the Miis down the road will not be as effective if these Miis are just so good. And the evidence that supports my perspective on this starts with the level up values, right? We see that there's only one track unlocked at level 3, one track at level 6, and one track at level 8. That is exactly merged between the value of a super driver and the value of a high-end driver, because super drivers do not have a level unlock at level 8. Only high-ends do. This is a high-end driver, as we can see. But high-end drivers, karts and gliders too, mind you, have 2 track unlocks at level 3 and 2 track unlocks at level 6. So already we can see that these items will have a cap that's enforced more strongly than a standard high-end driver. So despite that increased scoring output, the viability will be more limited. Now, the question, of course, remains, how many of these Mii suits will be released, and how much will that dominate the overall percentage of the pie in terms of track coverage, right? So will they have 20 Miis and they cover, 75% of all tracks? Well, that might alter the picture, and Nintendo must be cautious of this, because with a limited selection of tracks, then the value, of course, for investing into these things is mitigated. So this is all part of the balancing aspect that occurs with this, but the predatory nature of this does not stop with this Rosalina Mii suit that's in the ranked reward, creating FOMO. Only one of them has ever returned to a pipe, and that was Blue Yoshi during the tricolor pipe. All of the other ones, such as like the purple Koopa free running, the light blue Shy Guys, the green Shy Guys, all of those things, the blue Birdos, they haven't returned yet. But it doesn't stop there. When I did my reaction, I was really excited. It was probably the peak moment of the entire reaction for me. We had this blue challenge card, right? And that's how we obtained the bronze Mii racing suit with the boomerang special skill. So This is tier challenge card 1. From the data mining, it's now known that there are 3 of these challenge cards. So there will be a tier challenges 2 and a tier challenges 3. Tier challenges 2, in all likelihood, will unlock the silver Mii racing suit, which has the Lucky 7 special skill. And the final one of all is the gold Mii racing suit, which has the coin box. And if we swing it over to the value of that item, scroll all the way to the bottom of the inventory section here, starts off with a pretty massive selection of level 1 tracks. Now this item will not be available for anyone's inventory for 5 tours or 10 weeks because of the requirement of the final challenge in that to be tier 80, okay? So a lot of players already feel the pressure to obtain this item, since knowing what the bonus points boost output implications will be. We've talked significantly to a great extent about what bonus points boost mean and how they're calculated and how they influence your game here. Check out my recent content in case you missed it. And Coinbox being the #1 skill in the game, this has a very pressurized situation for players to burn every resource possible in order to obtain tier 80. And I'm here to tell you that this thing will not be locked up for good behind that tier 80 challenge card. And once again, I'll provide the perspective as to why that may be the case. Well, eventually, tier 80 is not the end game for Mario Kart Tour, right? If the game just said, okay, tier 80 is where it finishes off from now till the end of time, that's going to be a problem, as players, even free-to-play players, look at the end of tier 70 just last week, we had multiple free-to-play members who were tier 67, okay? So that's absolutely spending no investment into the game. The meaning of tier 80 will change over time. Right now, it's something that's very elusive and very lucrative with the reward that you'll receive. But over time, that will not have the same meaning, and neither will this driver. But this is a driver that Nintendo can package. It's a commodity. This is a very precious commodity for Nintendo. It will be packaged once again, perhaps in a $40 paid pack, or maybe even more lucrative from their standpoint, one of those non-spotlight special pipes, the quote-unquote scam pipes that I would call here, with terrible odds, in order to obtain perhaps this driver if you have enough rubies for it. And then of course the budget of players who are purchasing bundles can balloon way beyond that of a single $40 pack. So this is the complete range spectrum of my warning to provide to you. But on the flip side, you don't need this, folks. We talk about how to build your inventory very selective through specific investments, okay? Not like you need to have it all or you need to have the best one. You could be successful without the best one and without them all. We do it here all the time. That is the entire mantra of things. So this will not redefine the game by itself. It is just a fun new addition that does have significant metagame implications, but it's not the be-all, end-all, okay? And these things will become available once again, particularly considering that players below tier 50 do not have access to the Rosalina Mii suit. Do you think Nintendo would pass up the opportunity for new paying players who are between tier 1 and tier 49 the chance to deny them spending for such an item? Not a chance, folks, not a chance. So don't fall bait to buying them all initially. I guarantee you these things, just like anything else in the game, right? Things that came out originally, Pink Gold Peach, Hakama Mario, right? Metal Mario. Look at these old high-ends. They've been given out for free. I did not pull for Hakama Mario one time. That was a freebie. These Mii suits will become available over time. So if you are playing a very smart and strict resources game, don't do what I just did, folks, and that is purchase the DK suit, okay? The value of these things is charting to be between that of a super value, and I don't mean like one of these original supers like my furry little friend here, who has not been touched except for the middle shelf track value. Hopefully that is indication of future value that he will receive. But you know, we're looking at these kind of things, right? like a nice hefty 18 to 22 track kind of range. And, you know, between that and perhaps, you know, some of these older high ends that we might see, you know, like Pauline has relatively the same amount of value as some of these new supers. So that's right around the area where we will see that value come in. It won't look something like this, folks. You will not be seeing this much track coverage for any of those Mii suits. Mark my words, okay? And when I come out to make a statement like that, we mean business. It's, you know, you can put it in your bank, folks. So there you have it. Hopefully you found this information to be very informative, and I do really hope that these words resonate and provide some peace for you out there. If you have been at all concerned or feeling the pressure to collect, spend rubies, spend money on some of these Miis, look, you don't have to be the first one to the prize, okay? It's I've been talking about this with the folks here in the context of YouTube. Right? It's about the journey, right? You know, a lot of people say, like, you know, hey, 1000's right around the corner, or you should already be there, all these different things. I'm like, look, folks, I don't focus on that. I just focus on the content, the ideas, the interactions that we share. It's about the journey, all right? And if you enjoy sharing that journey with me, please do share your support with this video, with the channel, by leaving a thumbs up and subscribing. It goes a long way in helping things out. The Candid Kevin trilogy will be completed with the 3rd episode, and then we have something very special planned for the 1000 subscriber Candid Kevin episode. I'll likely open up the floor even early to that, and we can have a mixture of submitted questions with live interactions with all of you. So really cool stuff on the channel. We're going to be doing more deep dives as more information comes out on this new update. As always, make use of the information that I've already provided. More information in the Discord with the resources section that is a collection of all of the works, not just for myself, but all of the brilliant minds out there in Mario Kart Tour. So take care, everybody, and race on.